In a world riddled by literally millions of games and ever-rising game prices, quality gaming on a budget can seem almost impossible. Welcome to the Nexus Roundtable, where we show that not only can you game on a budget, but you can enjoy quality gaming. Today we're reviewing Final Fantasy X HD Remaster. Stay tuned as I, Bales, and Karsa analyze Final Fantasy X HD Remaster based on these 5 criteria: art and graphics, game control, gameplay, ingenuity, and overall rating. When we're done, we'll let you know if we consider it a stud or a dud. In addition to our usual review, we'll be covering our April Fool's Day community stream on Gartic Phone. But before we get to the review, we'll do some introductions, talk about streaming updates, and find out what's what in the world of gaming news. So to start, I am Bales115. I stream on Twitch Sunday through Friday. Saturday's my day off. We're covering a variety of things, including the Nexus Roundtable games, a game of the week. We're doing a day for writing, as well as Fire Emblem Fridays, and a duo on Sunday with Karsa. So please feel free to check out my stream for the weekly schedule, see when I'm going to be online and what I'm doing that day. Karsa, let's hear a little about you.
All right, I will tell you just as right now. Anyway, I am Karsa KKWX. Karsa is my name and KKWX is my empire. Yes. Anyway, this Empress from Alpha Centauri decides to come to your world on Mondays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. where we do Starfinder the game, which is basically Pathfinder in space or D&D in space. And then after about 1 o'clock, then I go ahead and play the NRT that we normally are reviewing. On Wednesday, I play Space Engineers at 1 p.m. with Tenable Target. On Friday, it's a potluck, and that starts at 1 o'clock as well. On Sunday is when we do our duo together, but this week we have an extra day. So tomorrow, on April the 16th, if it's too late, I'm sorry, is the horror stream that of the 300 plus followers that I made. Yay! And now I'm gonna get scared like a little girl for free because Bales bought me this itch, and we have all kinds of fun things gonna happen on that horror stream, and that is all about me. Okay.
Speaking of goals, I have totally neglected one of our community goals as well.
What is that?
Having achieved a goal within my community, I agreed to do a face stream. If you wish to see me embarrass myself on stream by wearing a lovely dress and having makeup on and doing my hair, being all pretty, just like I never do anymore, definitely tune in for that. There'll be more news in the upcoming weeks.
Wow. Today, and why you see a thermostat instead of bullhead here, and that is because our friend is under the weather right now. So we will only have 2 of us actually doing this, but he's already told me his scores. So we will, when it comes to the overall score, we will go through it. In the meantime, what is the gaming news?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've been chomping at the bit to talk about a new game that came out called Cat Cafe Manager.
Oh, what is it about?
Now, it's got to be one of the best games I have played in the genre in a little while. Obviously, it's full of cat puns because what kind of cat game wouldn't? But you build this cafe and expand upon it and increase your recipes and level your characters up and increase the number of cats in a cafe. If you don't know what a cat cafe is, it's a cafe where cats roam around inside the cafe and keep the customers happy while they drink their coffee, eat their nosh or whatever it is they're munching on. Or anyway, it's just this really cute, really fun game. I will admit, day one it had some issues, but what game doesn't anymore on day one have some issues? And they've already released a patch on day two, so I'm looking forward to them patching out some of the other issues we've had. But I've played it for a good solid 7 hours, and I'd recommend it. We're not going to cover that on this game, on this stream, though. I just wanted to bring it out there.
Okay.
There are some other ones coming out soon. Trolley Problem Incorporated is coming out. I must admit to not knowing too much about it, but I've definitely talked about the trolley problem a lot. Kars, are you familiar with the trolley problem?
No, I am not. Please let us know.
Okay, so it's a social question. If a trolley is going down the tracks and you see a split in the tracks, and on one split on the tracks are 6 people tied up to the tracks, and on the other split in the tracks is your mom tied up on the tracks. Do you let it continue down the path and kill the 6 random people, or do you flip the switch and let it run over your mom? And that's the trolley problem. It's basically meant to make you think about what you would do in that critical scenario. And I would imagine the game is going to be similar in nature, making you question those critical scenarios. So that's coming out. My Time at Porsche in the past, which we all agreed was probably one of the best games we may ever review on this.
One of them, yes.
But the sequel, My Time at Sandrock, is finally leaving alpha, which I have access to, and going into beta, or what they call early access, on Steam starting May 26th. I am looking to stream that, the alpha, probably in the next week or two on my own stream when I finish my Stardew run. In gaming news as well, for those who follow Xbox Game Pass, May 10th they're releasing a game called Ayuden Chronicles Rising. It'll be a day one release on the Xbox Game Pass, so if you are following along with the Nexus Roundtable and picking up Game Pass to try to figure out the games as we figure them out, if you're into a side-scrolling ARPG, that might be your thing. Speaking of Xbox, they're free-to-play games. Xbox is looking to add ads to them. Microsoft, but that should surprise nobody. I mean, ads have become a great source of revenue for a lot of companies, and while none of us really want to see it, it does take up resources for Xbox to host those games, so it's not unusual to expect them to want to put ads in there.
Of course.
And then here's the biggest news that we really haven't covered yet. I mean, I think we may have touched on the PlayStation subscription tiers changing last time, but I didn't really get too in-depth with it. And I do want to get a little in-depth with that because we're approaching June when it gets implemented. So for those of you who subscribe now to PlayStation Plus, and I'm one of them, things are going to change. The PlayStation Plus Essential will be the base tier that we all have right now. And that will include the monthly games, the special discounts we get, as well as multiplayer access and cloud storage. And so that will remain $9.99 a month or $60 a year. So if that's what you've got right now, not much is going to change for you. But they got rid of PlayStation Now, and they're including that as PlayStation Extra, PS Plus Extra, which will have the DLC catalog of the 400 or 500 PS5, PS4 games available. And they have a fairly good library. It's not as good as the Xbox library in my personal opinion, but it's not bad. That will be $14.99 a month or $99.99 a year, which is actually, if I remember correctly, about the same time as the cost as the PlayStation Now subscription. So you're kind of saving a little, maybe. And then they have finally the PlayStation Plus Premium, which will include PSP, PS3, PS2, and PS1 games, as well to have them streaming, as well as game trials, we've sometimes seen Nintendo occasionally does a game trial for a week or so before they take it back. So that will be $17.99 a month or $119 a year, which, if you're paying $119 at once, you're saving money, but you're also, $119 is a big chunk of change to spend at one time. And so whether or not I'd personally go for the PlayStation Plus Premium, because I very well might, depends on the library. Like, there are a ton of games I'd love to see. Like, if they were going, the PlayStation 1 classics, I'd love to see some of the ones like Alundra, Legend of Dragoon, maybe the Legend of Kain, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Why did I call it Legend? My brain. Oh well. I'd love to see Star Ocean 2 show up on that list, because there's no way to bring it into the current generation yet in the West. There was a remaster released in Japan, but I don't live in Japan, and I'm not tech savvy enough to make my PlayStation 4 Japanese. Like if PS2, if I could just see something like Summoner 2 or Radiata Stories, that would be phenomenal. I'd love to play both of them on a current gen console. And then maybe like if we get the PSP, the Star Ocean Second Evolution was the remaster version of Star Ocean, and Final Fantasy Tactics got a bit of a remaster on the PlayStation Portable. So those are some things that would definitely weigh in on my decision whether or not I get that. I do know that there has been rumors that Microsoft is considering switching over to this model, and I'll be honest with you, I won't be surprised if they do. Nintendo has switched to this model, PlayStation is on this model. It only stands to reason Microsoft will follow suit. So,
sounds like all of them will eventually go to that model, because that's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, yeah. In some ways it makes it easier on us, in some ways it makes it tougher. I'm hoping that both PlayStation and Microsoft change their views just a little bit, because on the the Nintendo Switch, I can get the family pack version of that for like $120 a year, which means that between my brother, myself, and my brother's best friend, like we're all on the family pack, we're all only paying $40 a month for the expansion pass for the Switch on that. So like, if PlayStation and Xbox would get on board, I would like definitely jump on board with splitting the cost with somebody else if we could still do that, because Nintendo is allowing us to do that. So that is, I think, all I have for the gaming news for this session.
All right.
Karska, did you have anything?
I do have something. Now, it's not so much a game as it was a movie that just came out. Sonic 2.
Ooh.
Yes, I loved it so much. If you guys want to go see it, it's great. It's not as good as Sonic 1 or Sonic, but it is good. It is really, really good. And little spoiler, just a small spoiler. Okay.
Don't you dare.
Only one small spoiler. Don't leave until after the after credits.
So it's a Marvel movie, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Well, let's just put it this way. If you leave during the credits, you will miss the next big part.
Okay.
That's the spoiler. There's that. Now, for my other gaming news, is that Icarus has had yet another update. They have one every week, but they've been having some pretty significant updates within the last 2 times. They brought up a new mining ore miner console that you can buy in their store with your gold or whatever it's called, gills, credits. Then there's been the update where they've changed the heat and the cold, so now you're actually, and I don't understand why they did this, but they did. They've made it more dangerous, even with the best gear in the game, to live in the heat or the cold. So that's even worse. There's the Scorpion update where they actually added scorpions. Now they're going to add a scorpion boss and a few other things that are going to be happening in Icarus. So there's that. Let's see here. This has been a lot of fun, but it is time for us to move on to the actual game, unless you have any more for gaming news.
Nope, I got nothing. Let's see some Gartic Phone.
Let's do. Yay!
Do you want to give a rundown of how this is played, or do you want me to do that? Because either's fine.
I could do it.
Go for it.
Alright, so with Gartic Phone, there are several different possibilities you can choose for the group to make something happen. And there are different types of ways of making this. And the ones that we use, because we did have a friend who does not know how to write English and doesn't know how to read it, we just mainly played two types. Which types were they?
I know we did the animated,
Yes.
and then we did the complete the drawing, and then vote on who did the best drawing.
Yeah, because I know that the one thing we had was when we did the normal, you had to be able to write something, and he was not able to. So,
And that's fair. We're not, cruel streamers.
no, we were trying to just have fun with our community, and we had a lot of fun. And the one you're seeing right here, if I remember correctly, was an animation.
I love how one
And-
of us finally was like, by the way, you need a doorknob to get in the house.
Was it me?
I don't know.
I think I was the one who actually put the doorknob on there.
I think you started this one.
Did I?
And then I added in the cat that came through. And then somebody was like, oh, maybe I should knock down the ladder.
Well, oh yes, I put the ladder up there because I was hoping that somebody put a cat in there. No, I put the cat there, and then somebody put the dog there, and that's
Yes,
what
that was
caused it all.
Yes. Cause and effect.
Cause and effect. So that was that one. Alright, let's see another one. Alright, so this one was more of along the lines where we just took a picture and we tried to complement it, finish it. We were given the basics, and then this is how we made it look different. That was the basic. That's how it's moved on to not being basic anymore. And of course, Hellfather, of course, needs to have a picture of himself. So.
Please don't demonetize us.
All right. Then we have this one that I started out.
This is
Click
embarrassing.
too quickly for the app.
There's a story behind this. It was like our first or second round, and I clicked too quickly, and I didn't realize the picture wasn't going to stay up. So I was like, I clicked too quickly. Can we get an F in the chat? And then everybody else obliged.
They did. So that was that one. Oh, yes. Don't. I'll
I'll do it again. Yuck.
do it again, rip. Don't drink and drive.
Actually, that's why it's illegal to do mathematics homework and have alcohol at the same time. They'll pull you over for drinking and driving.
Oh. Moving on to the next one.
Or would that be alcohol derivatives?
Okay, so the kitty was somebody gave me a kitty, I gave them a cookie, and somebody turned it into a muffin.
I don't know who would have turned that into a muffin. I don't know who that was.
Uh-huh.
Can we go on to the next one before people figure this out?
And then we have go get what?
The sun kept getting bigger as we went through. And then, like, when I made the character burnt to a crisp, somebody was like, nah, they need to be sunburned again.
So yeah, that went that way. Oh, and this one was wish and then destruction. I know I made the car move. Somebody dumped the car.
Yeah, I think you intended it to be a car, and then somebody turned it into a minecart. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of gold. Can we talk about that?
That is a lot. Oh.
I forgot about this one.
Oh, yes. The
I was like,
time
oh,
zone
set this
is
up to
even
throw
wrong, too.
a basketball. Will they do it? And
Nope.
Nuh-uh.
Here's another one. Rip. The banana peel. Oh, poor kitty. Poor kitty. Oh. And then the last one.
Yeah, so the first person was like, let's create a roly-poly, and everybody else is like, there's not enough time to do that. What's wrong with you? So we just got rid of the color.
Yes. Somebody was really good at what they did.
Mm-hmm. We had a certain somebody that made us all look bad.
Oh, and we just took it over.
They were really good, though.
Yeah,
it was
they
fun
were
playing
good.
with them.
They were awesome. Alright, so let's quit that. Alright. Yay!
So
that was
now
fun.
we get on to to what everybody is here for.
Well,
Pictures
first
of
of all,
me. I'm
yeah.
sorry, the review of the game. My apologies.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
well, first thing is that with the Gartic phone, we did have fun. Did we not?
Yes. Yes,
Would we
did.
do
We
it
absolutely did.
again?
Maybe on April Fool's next year. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We were going to do something here, and we ended up doing Gartic phone, and we never really got it on to YouTube. But we are doing it now, so you can see that we actually did do something on April Fool's.
There was a reason for it. So Karsa really wanted to finish Final Fantasy X before we did this review because, like, it's a story. It's a real story, and so I was like, okay, let's just do something for April Fool's Day then, and we'll share it on the next video. So that's where we are now, and so yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, I'd seen Final Fantasy X before, so I knew Carson needed to finish this. It was very important.
I had never played it. Ever. Really did never.
Without spoiling too much in why, have you ever cried from a video game before?
Yes.
I'm just curious, when was that? Because
it's not often.
I think
this
I know
however,
I cried Final Fantasy IX.
Cry. This game made me cry. It was so sad.
The surprise death in Final Fantasy VII was more of like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened. However, Final Fantasy IX and X both just made me bawl my eyes out. One of those moments where I'm like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Get me a tissue.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, I did cry. I have to say it. I did cry.
I muted my mic so you wouldn't hear me crying.
Yeah, well, you didn't have me mute my mic. That happened. It was so sad.
Well, it was your stream, though. Like, if I had been crying on your stream, it just would have been awkward.
A little. But
Okay,
still.
well, let's get started with the review.
Yeah, let's do it. Alright, so what are the 5 criteria we go through?
Yes, so the 5 criteria are as follows, in such that, hold on, I've got to find them. Okay, art and graphics, game controls, gameplay, ingenuity, and overall rating.
Yeah, alright. So, first things first, we're showing Bullhead's little segment that he did first.
One thing we should probably mention, this is the HD Remaster. This is not Final Fantasy X, it's the changes that were made to it.
Right. I don't know what the changes are. I just played it for the first time, this one. So...
That's actually a good idea. Like, it's good that you're playing this for the first time now, because you can tell me how the graphics hold up compared to today's game with the remaster.
I still think it did very well.
Is graphics where we start? Is am I accurate on that?
Yes, we start with graphics.
Ah,
In
perfect.
fact, let's do that right now. Graphics. Arts and graphics! Yay! Okay, so on Arts and Graphics, as you can see just by the start of the game, they really put some work into it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what the difference was between the two, but I've heard that they actually made it less pixelated. And I do have one criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when he goes into the water and comes back out.
Mm-hmm.
He does not look like the same character.
I'd have
Seriously.
to see it to compare. But I mean, like, a character with wet hair versus a character with dry hair? Maybe? I don't know.
No, he really does look different. And
There were... Did you see that with Yuna at all? Like, there were a couple scenes with Yuna where she definitely looked like she was not Yuna.
Yes. Same difference. I mean, when they were in the water, they looked different. They looked like they were made by a different artist.
Yeah. I will say that, like, there were times, like, for the most part, Yuna looks like a westernized character to me. But there are a couple scenes where she looks more like a Japanese character. Like, we have different facial structures based on our development over time, adapting to our surroundings. And so there are just a few times where, like, I'm like, oh, Yuna looks like she's from the West, and then, oh, Yuna looks like she's from Japan, and they're not the same character.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's the only criticism I really have of the graphics. I really was surprised on how well this held up, even to today's standards.
Mm-hmm. This looks like it would be perfectly at home on a Switch. Personal opinion. Absolutely looks like it belongs on a Switch.
Yeah, I would agree. Although I don't have a Switch. But yes, I agree.
We'll pretend I don't have a Switch. I can't even. My main game is Fire Emblem Three Houses, so... You know.
Yeah. Now this was the interesting part, is you were able to change the name. Now I did change the name.
Ooh, what did you name him?
I think I named him Jeff.
Jeff, that's right. I went with Jack the Second.
Yes, I saw that.
Spoiler alert. I'm kidding. It's not really a spoiler to tell you who his dad is.
You kind of learned that from the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the commentators are literally talking about it as you're walking to the stadium right after this scene right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna end up way over in this category. So what did you think about the arts and graphics? Like, is an overall star? Yay or nay?
I give it a star. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. It works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you give it a star as well?
I have seen the original, and I've seen them side by side, and the HD Remaster does some phenomenal things with the graphics. So it gets a star from me. I would like to take about 15 seconds to touch on one thing that can only fit in the arts category, and that's music. I didn't care much for the changes in the music between the remaster and the original, because Nobuo Uematsu, who's the composer, is an absolute genius of a composer. The best in the video game industry, in my opinion. And so when they alter his music, I kind of get like a little heebie-jeebies, this isn't correct kind of thing. So, but again, that can't impact my score here because music is not one of our criteria.
I can't impact my score either because I never knew the other music. So,
did you play it with the original or the arranged?
I think I actually stopped and looked at it and played both at one time.
Oh, that's right. You stream with the music off, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
You know why I do that, right?
I do, because of the MCA.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
well, we've got our 2 stars. And what did you get from Bullhead on this category?
I did get a star. He liked it. So
Good.
he just didn't tell me why he liked it, but he liked it. So
Well,
there
you
we
know,
go.
he's when you're not feeling well, you're not feeling well.
Well, yeah. So, moving on to the next criteria, and that would be controls.
Yeah, I'll let you start with this one.
Alright, as you all know, I play PC. I did not play with a controller.
That's
I
your
have been
fault.
recently given a controller by a certain someone.
Who's that?
That would be you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only problem is I still don't have the little connection to it. So we're
It's
working
a
on that.
USB mini.
I did order one, but it has not
Okay.
come in. So we are working on that. For control wise, I will not play. I will not play this game. And this ball game that they do, the jet thing.
It's called Blitzball.
Blitzball. Yeah, Blitzball. That's the word. See? It does look different. He looks different in water. I swear. I will not do it without the controller because it was almost impossible. And to do Oren's was impossible. I could not get his overdrive at all to 100%. Now, on the other hand, Lulu's I was able to get rather easily.
What was your high score on Lulu?
I got a 6. No,
Okay.
7. A 7.
7. That's
7 on
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah. But Oren, I got 4. I had a hard time timing it for Jeff, aka Titus, but I was able to do it. Of course, the reels for Waka was okay, and Riku's was fine because it's just use this, use that.
Well, it's
So
called
what-
Mix, but that's okay.
Mix, yeah, mix. And what was the other one? Who else?
Yuna.
Yuna's.
hers-
Of course,
yeah.
hers was easy enough to do too. So.
Yeah. And Kamari, same thing.
Kamari, I had a hard time with, not with the overdrive, but just with getting the character to be viable as a true character. Now, I know I went down the wrong route. Don't get me wrong. I know I went down the wrong route. He should have been done a different way. Unfortunately, I was foolish and took him down Titus's route.
It's difficult. Anyway, so I'm gonna touch basically on the controls with this one, and this was made to be played with a controller. It came out on the PS2, so it was made to be with a controller. So I enjoyed, not actually gonna lie, I enjoyed laughing occasionally when you would really struggle to figure out how to do something because you were using a keyboard, and you'd be like, "How do I do this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't play it with a keyboard."
Yeah.
So it's very simple with a controller. Like, everything has a specific binding on the controller that you really don't need to change because it's all good. So, from my perspective, the controls are really easy. So I'm gonna give it a star from my end.
Well, being that said, even with me playing just the keyboard, I was able to figure out the controller, or not the controls, but the controls, and change them to what I needed them to be changed to a degree. Which means I could take the WASD and change it into up, down, left, right. Which is, as a left-handed person, that's what I gotta do. But even though I'm going to give it a star still, it is more difficult on the computer by far than what I saw you dealing with on a controller.
It's just not optimized, in my opinion, as well as it could be.
Yeah. So, what's your star?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll give it stars too. And, of course, the other controller person who plays a lot of controller stuff, that would be Bullhead. He chose to do a star as well. So that's
Okay.
currently where we're at with that. Moving on to gameplay. Now, gameplay. Let's see here. Let's move on to, I think, let's see if we can get yours to be played.
Sure.
Would that work?
Oh yeah,
best?
that's actually a really good one right now.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
So we highlighted, if you don't mind, I'll go first on this category.
Absolutely.
So I decided to do some clips of me playing Blitzball because I didn't know whether or not Bullhead was going to play Blitzball, and I knew that Karsa absolutely was not going to play Blitzball beyond the first match. And so I'm not saying like I'm absolutely an amazing Blitzball player, but I'm good enough to beat the game and consistently win like at least 95% of my games. Of course, there are certain factors that play into it, but the Blitzball thing itself was one of those side events that you could do, side quests you could do, that just added so much in what the game did. You could get different items you could only get through Blitzball, and it's not the only way that things are done like that. Like there are the monster arena. That was a thing. You had to capture, what was it, 10 of each creature? Is that right? 10?
Yes.
Okay. I actually didn't get that far in my playthrough.
I did.
Honest, but that's not really surprising considering, like, you know, I've beaten the game before and I've beaten the optional bosses, so I didn't really need to do these. There are some things I don't like. To get a platinum on this as a PlayStation player, I have a PlayStation 4, but I did not play this on the PlayStation 4. You have to dodge 200 consecutive lightning bolts. That's impossible for me. I just don't have the reaction speed for it. Yeah, boomer alert. Sorry, guys.
Well, to be honest with you, there is a way of doing it if we were playing it on Steam, but we're not playing it on Steam, so it's not possible.
Yeah. And I didn't actually look at... I believe the requirements for the Xbox Game Pass were not as stringent to get all of the achievements as was in the PlayStation 4 version, but the achievements for the Xbox Game Pass included Final Fantasy X2, so, you know, I will never play Final Fantasy X2 again. But that said, you know,
my
typical
husband
RPG
has required
stuff.
me to do so.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I will not be watching your stream during that time.
I'm not going to be streaming it.
Okay, that's good. So basically, you know, Final Fantasy, getting back to it, it has your typical Final Fantasy elements. It's got turn-based battle. It had a really unique, it showed you the battle order in the upper right-hand corner and how your actions would change that, so it made it really easy to understand. You could swap out characters at a whim to anybody you wanted to. And you know, the leveling system, it takes a little getting used to, but I liked it. But I'll talk more about that in Ingenuity. So, you know, gameplay-wise, this was solid in my book. Like, I knew going into it that gameplay was going to get a star just because I knew what the game was. There was nothing the HD Remaster was going to do that was really going to change that much besides the additional content of optional bosses and some things like that. And it was nice to have the addition, but unless you're a 100%er, it really doesn't matter too much. Your opinion, Karsa?
Gameplay wise, I didn't. Of course, I didn't like Blitzball, but that was because I really couldn't do it. But as far as the other, I thought it was pretty good. However, I had the biggest, hardest problem ever. I have to say it. It was really bad. I thought the one sword that I got was the legendary sword, and it wasn't. It was another name. Mazuni, and what was the other name?
Okay. So that is partially chicken dance. That is partially a Karsa issue. Mainly, you know, things like not knowing your lore and knowing that Masamune and Nanamune were two different things.
Oh, I'm not taking it off there just because of that. No way. That was just because I couldn't figure it out.
I'm just saying, like, that is, you just need to know your lore in that case.
Yeah, I didn't. I just really made a mistake for 2 days straight. I was saying, why am I not getting these arena? Then what I ended up doing is I literally got every single creature that could be brought into the arena before I could get my legendary, and I had it way before then. So actually, I will say I still think this deserves a star. It was a really, really good gameplay. I knew what I needed to do. I knew that if I do certain things, they'll probably work out for the best. And I made sure that if I used any type of elemental attack, that I used the right one that was exactly opposite, and I was fine. I mostly did okay. I didn't die a whole lot. I did die a couple times, I will say that. But mainly to the bosses.
We're gonna have to switch videos here soon. So one thing I would like to mention, because I can't actually see like the scoreboard right now, because there's somebody covering it. I don't know who that is, but I can see it in when I'm playing game. For people who think Blitzball is too difficult, I want you to know that for the most part, I won most of my Blitzball games, and Karsa can probably confirm this because she was watching for a portion of them. I won most of my Blitzball matches, but like 5-0, 6-0, some of them 8-0.
Yeah.
So if you think Blitzball is too difficult, you have to have the right team. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
You need to have recruited the right characters to make it easier on you. So, if you're struggling with it, please don't be afraid to look things up online a little. Like, it's okay. It's okay. It really is.
So, now that we are done with that, let's give it some stars. Alright.
I gave it mine.
You gave a star, I'm giving a star, and evidently Bullhead also is giving a star. So, I'm not saying that this is actually what he did say. He did say that he wants it this way, so I'm not just putting down a star just because he's not here.
Absolutely. I hope you catch some of the sphere grid in your gameplay. I didn't think about that.
I don't know what I caught. Actually, gameplay. Ingenuity. So, I could have put in anything. I just did what I could to try to get some movement into the game and to show some of the things. Now, as you can see, I got caught up there. That's because, not knowing how to play this game.
Yeah, it takes getting used to.
And I remember
she is showing the first half hour of the game, 45 minutes.
Yeah. And Jeff's name changed, Titus.
Oh, I was so wrong about her name. It's 4 question marks and I thought it was 3. My bad.
Yeah, question mark. And you eventually get to know who she is.
Rico!
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Now the curiosity is, why was it only those 3 that were ever in the water?
I don't understand why Riku could do it, but both Titus and Waka were Blitzball players, so you have to play Blitzball in the water. I don't know if there's some kind of enhancement that allows them to play underwater that they had done or something, but I do know, oh no, bad spot to use a grenade.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said when I did it. You said
sorry.
That was a bad time to use the grenade. I was like, oh.
Yeah, they're much better used in a couple minutes.
That's exactly what you said. If I had this going so you could hear your voice, you would definitely hear that.
That's fair. But yeah, as far as ingenuity, like I know that you've played RPGs your whole life. What did this do that was different than normal? That's basically what we're asking here. What was new about it that you'd never seen before?
I I really cannot say it was new, but there's just nothing at all that can hold a candle to some of the gameplay we got here. I mean, the fact that it did allow me to get so emotional in some of these
Well,
characters.
that's story. That's perfectly written story.
It's perfect. Would it be new in the fact of RPGs? Okay, well, yeah, it still got me. It's definitely still got me. The fact that it did use a lot of puzzles. For some people,
Mm-hmm.
that's not something that they like to play. My brother doesn't like that, but I thought it was fun because I would be able to figure out this puzzle, and then I'd be like, "Yeah, I got it. Cool." But I did have to remember when to get the destruction spears, or I couldn't get into some of the optional bosses. So I had to go back for one. Now, there's one thing I was surprised about. It's when we went for the optional bosses and you had the Valfor and you had all those others that were,
The Dark Aeons.
yeah, that you
Mm-hmm.
definitely could not kill with the little amount that I had. Um,
No,
I kind of got one-shotted every time.
they're called super bosses.
They are
So
super bosses.
doing it before you've maxed out your characters is a mistake.
Yeah, and I wasn't maxed out, and so I died. Yeah, a lot. um, that part
So,
right there, yeah, was very different. And
I do want to tackle the ingenuity.
okay,
Absolutely 100%. This game was made during Final Fantasy's What Can We Do That's Creative. Final Fantasy brought in materia, Final Fantasy VIII brought in drawing from your opponents, and your stats were based on junctioning your spells to your stats. Final Fantasy IX had equipment where you learned skills based on getting your equipment AP, which would unlock skills for you. And then Final Fantasy X came up with the sphere grid. That's what it's called, right? Sphere grid? Is that right?
yeah, the sphere
Yes,
grid
because
was
Final
very
Fantasy X
different.
was dress spheres. That was different. So the sphere grid was a different way to level up that we'd never really seen before. And it was a nice change of pace. And then one of the things it also did, besides make you dodge 200 flipping lightning bolts, was Blitzball. Blitzball is unlike any game It's like this combination of football and soccer and water polo, and it's really a solid addition. And I think the ingenuity of how they put together Blitzball was pretty awesome. So from an ingenuity standpoint, between the leveling up system, the way you could actually control your summons in battle, that was new too. These were all great things that were changes that we at the time had never seen in an RPG before. So it definitely gets a star from me for just that concept.
Well, I have to say, it was, as far as ingenuity, that, yeah, you brought up some good points. And that was that, well, not Blitzball, but the grid. The grid was different. And the fact that you could actually move around in the grid if you had a certain sphere, that worked for me. And it did make things a lot easier on me when I finally got this friend sphere and was able to move my characters around a little bit faster, and was able to finally get that ultimate spell that I was looking for. So I'm going to give it a star, and you're going to give it a star, and of course Bullhead is giving it a star. So alright, moving on to the next step. And the next step is the overall score.
Oh, someone fed Smiz. Was that me? It's probably me.
It was either you or it was Magica. Smiz is my little catabat that's right there. It's actually a dragon that was turned into a catabat after being updated. Upgraded, I guess. Alright.
I'm surprised you show who's talking on Discord on your stream. Kind of cool that I'm surprised.
You didn't know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I do.
I guess I'm more focused, because I watch you play on Discord. I don't watch your stream at the same time.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so overall score, sorry.
That's kind of the reason why I tell people that they need to use their character's avatar if they can for their picture.
Well, I don't mind. That's the picture of my tattoo. I'm very proud of it.
So there you go. Anyway, so back to overall score. Absolutely, 100% star. I was gonna give it 5 stars because it needs 5 stars because it's probably the best game I have played in a long time. It fit all the criteria I loved. It allowed for me to be creative, allowed me to play where I needed to play, it allowed me to see the story and move the story along without getting stuck on one thing. The only thing I didn't really like was the grinding, but well, that's just the way it is for RPGs. So.
To be fair, I was actually reading an article about this, and there was actually somebody who was like, as far as grinding goes, like, this is one of the least grindy Final Fantasy games in existence.
Wow.
And, of course, if you've played the other Final Fantasy games, like, you understand how to take on these bosses without actually needing to grind out the levels, because you've encountered some of the strategies before.
True.
And so, you know, I don't think you've played 7, 8, or 9, so...
The only game I've ever played was 7, and that was for part of the time. And that was because I was borrowing somebody's controller while I stayed at their place.
Sorry, stretch time.
So, yeah.
Well, obviously, I gave it the other 4 stars. I came into this knowing, like, its overall score would be a star from me, so I'm not even going to mince words on this. It gets a star from me.
Okay. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think this game, because Bullhead said give them all 5 stars.
No way.
Yeah. Is a 15 out of 15.
I don't know that we would have gotten Final Fantasy VII a 15 out of 15.
This one got a 15 out of 15. Because Bullhead said all 5 stars.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's a perfect game. That's what we're saying here. Oh, it's not perfect, but it definitely deserves a perfect score. That's for sure. It is
a game that will be probably what we will be measuring all other games to, because
for a little while, yeah.
It is a perfect game in the star segment. Yeah, for a while, this one is going to be. You're going to have to top this.
Yeah, basic. Well, you know, or just meet its standards. I think
its standards or top it, because this is the game that all 3 of us, and we're all in 3 different types of genres. I'm in the sci-fi genre. You tend to play a lot of farming and fantasy, and Bullhead plays a lot of first-person shooters and platforming. Yet, all 3 of us chose 5 out of 5 each.
Do you have an effect that can just throw a bunch of fireworks up on the screen? I'm just saying.
I don't know. Maybe. Should I literally do it?
If you have it, do it. Otherwise, you know, not necessary.
I don't know if I can.
I know. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Can you use a grenade? No, but seriously.
No.
Yeah, that's great that we got a perfect score on this.
Yeah, actually.
See, there's your fireworks.
There we go. Fireworks. Yay!
Woo-hoo! Yay!
'Cause we blew it up. Yay!
Okay.
But well, yeah, actually 5 out of 5 for each of us, and we all chose it as a perfect score.
I'm glad we waited 4 weeks on this one. I think it was worth it to like. It does suck we didn't put out a video for a month, but at the same time, this was worth the wait.
This was
With that in
well, I
mind,
had
though,
never played it before, and you wanted me to see the ending, and
Mhm.
I rushed as hard as I could to the ending,
you absolutely did.
and I missed probably a lot because
I
there's a
don't
whole
think I've
lot
ever seen
more.
you play an NRT game off of stream, and you were playing it a lot off of stream just to try to get there.
Oh yeah, I was. I was playing it as much as I could. Loved playing it. Kept playing. I was obsessed with this game.
That said, we should probably talk about what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. For
Right.
starters, we will be welcoming in a new member, at least for 1 week, and he'll decide if he wants to stay after that. It is, I don't remember the last numbers after Navaran. Is it 9942? Navaran
Yes, it
9942?
is.
He is a
9942.
Scottish gamer. He's absolutely hilarious. His sense of humor matches mine, which is to say, the best in the world. We all know it. It's okay. But that means that either Bullhead or I will be stepping out for 1 week, and it all depends on Bullhead's health. If Bullhead's feeling up to it, I will step out because I'm working on a project. I've got to finish a writing project, which it's still going to take me about 3 months to finish, but I want to get a good chunk into it over the next couple of weeks. And if
Well-
Bullhead is not feeling any better over the next couple of weeks, I'll step in and play the game. Do you want to talk about the game?
Yeah, let's explain first the writing project you're doing. This
Oh, yeah.
writing project she's doing is the one that we used as incentives to get
Mhm.
to the goal for the lymphedema special we did.
Yes.
The charity
the
event.
fundraiser.
And we made it and then some.
Yeah, absolutely. We
And
did a great job with it.
So now she's writing a book, and the book will be published for everybody to see, hopefully within
Absolutely
the next
free of
3
charge.
months.
I will not put it on Amazon or anywhere. There will be a website on GoDaddy. We will probably include that in the comment section below on this video.
Mhm.
I originally had this great idea. We were going to just write these chapters, and when we reached our goal and I started rereading what I'd written, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I had to scrap just about everything I had and start back over. And Carson, would you say that what I've done is quality work? Like, is what I'm putting out now like something
it's
you would
infinitely
want to
better
read?
than the first segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be writing this on stream on Tuesdays. I will be streaming the writers category. You will get to see me write, sort of do the thought process as I go through, and then writing. And then if I finish a chapter, I will take the time to read it to you guys live on stream. Now that's important because as we move forward, I will also be self-recording myself reading the chapters so that people who don't have the time to read the chapter but can access the website on the ride to work or something can just hit the play button and listen to the chapter as I read it out loud. Now, I'm not a professional narrator, so please don't expect anything spectacular, but I'll do my best.
All right. So now let's go on to what the game is going to be, and that is Paradise Killer. Paradise Killer is based upon, it is a detective story done through going into what's similar to The Sims, and they leave out these messages, like little boxes of things that you have to click on, and then you look for it. There's a little bit of platforming in it, and we all know how I feel about platforms, but
yeah, there's a whole lot of things you have problems with platforms on.
Yeah, a whole lot of things. Yes. I got that. I got what you were trying to do.
What? I don't know. Shut up.
But Paradise Killer is the game we will be playing in the next 2 weeks. I just started tonight playing it, and it's very interesting. I'll have to say that. We'll tell you more about it next time we play. Next time we have our show. So, for that, Unless Bullhead cannot do it, then Bales is going to be stepping down just for the time, so that Navarone, who is also playing the game, will be with us. Otherwise, this is how it is. Is there anything we need to say?
I don't think so. I think we're solid.
I think we're solid too. Well, let's hope for Bullhead to feeling better. Let's hope that next time goes much more smoother. But I believe we did really well today, and I think this was great. We did find the one game that was a perfect 15 out of 15. So, until next time, this is Karsa KKWX, and Bales115 saying thank you for being here. Please like, subscribe, and follow, or what's the word that we're supposed to be using? Oh yeah, comment in the place below. We would love to see you again next time. Goodbye!
Ta-ta!